welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Force podcast, a Puerto Rican podcast talking about Star Wars and other nerd-related media. Today, we're back for another quick one. Like we said on the last episode, where we were talking with Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit, the writers and showrunners of the new LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy special. We have a couple of other interviews lined up for everyone to listen to that we were able to participate as part of a content creator roundtable. And today we are dropping our second interview with Robert Michael Moynihan Jr., or as we all know him as Bobby Moynihan. As you all know, Bobby is particularly known for his appearances or being a cast member at SNL, but he is no stranger to the Star Wars galaxy. And as you will hear, many people on the interviews mention his diverse roles in the Star Wars universe. He's most known for playing Orka in Star Wars Resistance, Citizen 2 or Traitor in Star Wars The Bad Batch, most recently Geezer in Star Wars Visions. But if you are definitely a more die-hard Star Wars fan that delves into other Star Wars media that is not just the approved Lucasfilm canon, then you might be aware that he participated in live script readings for The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, known as the Kamino Caper, and the Naboo movie, which he was hilarious as he was infamous. So if you haven't, make sure to definitely check that out. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about this interview so much since we did a lot of the talking about it on the previous episode. But if you haven't seen it already, Bobby plays Jedi Bob appropriately, which is a particularly tortured character, but in true Lego fashion, he is extremely quirky and fun. But aren't all characters in Lego Star Wars quirky and fun? But like I said, keeping it short so that you can enjoy this interview. Like I said previously, all three of these roundtables were particularly enjoyable to be a part of, and there was so much fun and joy and energy that everyone that we interviewed and everyone making questions were feeding off of each other. It was really a lot of fun. There's a particularly heartwarming moment in this interview, specifically when Bobby is interacting with Keith and Kerwin from Father.Son.Galaxy. It was a moment that melted everyone's hearts, and it was so endearing and sweet. And it's kind of what makes Star Wars one of the most special things out there, because we can kind of find who we are and find what we love and share what we love with those that we love. So it's definitely like a really fun interview. So I hope that everyone enjoys it. Bobby was very high energy in this one, so you'll see that multiple people were able to ask multiple questions. Unfortunately, we did not. We were not able to ask more than one question, but it's all for the best because everyone's questions were incredible, and I'm sure that I would not have been able to ask a good follow up like everyone else was able to. But with that in mind, here is our interview with Bobby Moynihan. Enjoy.
Hi, Bobby. It's James from Jedi News here.
Up, man? How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, doing well. I like your spaceship. Is that the
Thank
hotel?
you.
That is, right?
It was. Yes, it
Yeah.
was. It was. So we just can't get rid of you, but that's a good thing.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's a really positive thing. We've had you obviously in Resistance, then the Bad Batch, Visions, and now LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So, did you know coming into this particular series how iconic Jedi Bob is in the world of LEGO Star Wars? And did that have any impact on the voice that you chose for the character?
It did, definitely. I did. This was in the room when I got the phone call.
Awesome.
When I got the phone call, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I had worked with Dan and Benji a little bit beforehand, so I knew them, and I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So much so that I forgot the second part of your question.
Well, so it was. Did you have any idea how iconic Jedi Bob
Oh,
was?
yes.
And,
Oh,
and
and the voice.
obviously
Yeah,
influencing the
yes.
voice?
It definitely did. I think I tried to do what I would do as a Jedi. Like I just did what I thought being cast as a Jedi, which is like I'm going to try and sound like Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon, but the reality is I'm a mess. And I just and kind of then threw in a lot of Bobby in there.
Hi, Bobby. Alex from Star Wars Explained.
I like trying to guess who's gonna be who.
As James pointed out, this is far from your first Star Wars character. So when the galaxy gets remixed, what do you think happened to Orka or Cecil Slack or Geezer or all of them? Could we get like an all Bobby Moynihan episode eventually?
Like a Clumps, like a Nutty Professor style movie. Yes, I hope that is the dream. I think that's Lucasfilm's #1 priority. Um, I love this idea. I think it could happen, and also the Lego Star Wars universe is the place to do it. I wish now that I had asked them just to put all my characters like talking at a little table in the cantina or the marina or something. That would have been great.
Hey, Bobby, Art Eddie here for Art of Fatherhood. I had a chance to speak with you about fatherhood before, so I'm going to ask you another fatherhood question. A lot of great themes in Rebuild the Galaxy, and is there something that you kind of use as Jedi Bob's character that you might use in real life as a dad in terms of maybe guiding or helping out the main characters?
Oh God, this is gonna get too real. It's something that I really do. It's something that Jedi Bob does, which is like he talks to people like they're stupid. They can't understand that they've done this. How they could have been so insane to do this thing. And I realize that I do that all the time, and I can't do that to my children. I try to be very kind to them. They're like, Dad, I did this insane thing. And I'm just like, it happens. I did those things too. And I have to remind myself not to go full Danny Glover and be like, I'm getting too old for this. I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I love your room.
Hi, Bobby. It's Charlotte from Skytalkers. I was so great to talk with you today. Thank you so much.
Nice to
We
meet
were wondering, you're such a Star Wars fan, and it is so awesome to see you in all these different roles. What draws you to Star Wars thematically, and what keeps you coming back?
I think for me personally, I love a universe to get lost in that has a great deal of minutia. I like it's a wonderful place to escape into with a lot of very easy archetypes to understand, and it's fun. And I also love the idea of that fan community of like there's this thing that doesn't exist that we all care about a great deal and will fight you over. um there's something to that. There's something to the love and the importance that is put into a galaxy that doesn't exist.
Hi, this is Kerwin and Father.Son.Galaxy. How are you, Bobby?
What's up? How are you?
All right, good. How would you describe your character, Jedi Bob?
Jedi Bob is not the best Jedi. He doesn't necessarily need to be. He's terrible at lightsaber work, and he's well aware of it. He knows he needs to get better. He just wants to save the galaxy and do good. But I also think he's there. There's a little part of him that doesn't believe in himself enough when it should, and I think he learns that through the other characters here.
Brian,
You're a good dad, by the way. You look like a good dad.
I appreciate that.
He
Thank you.
is. He's a great.
Oh, see, that's the best.
Okay, this is Brian from Full of Sith. Um,
Amazing.
yeah. So I told you on Twitter earlier. I think it's about time we see you in live action.
Oh, that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, I agree. I'm truly just glad you enjoyed it. You seem like a fan, and your tweet perfectly encapsulated what I would love people to feel about this experience, including me being in live action Star Wars.
I wanted to ask. I think I feel like I interviewed you at a roundtable like this for Resistance way back when you were just starting into Star Wars, and you were a huge fan then.
I remember that day. I remember doing. I was so excited.
And you're doing Star Wars still. You've done like Alex said, you've done Cecil Slack and Geezer and Orka, and like I said, you were a big Star Wars fan leading up to all of that. How has your relationship to Star Wars changed now after all these years of being a part of it? before last time we talked, you were just stepping into it, but now you're a veteran now.
Yeah, it's good. I feel very good. I feel very thankful. I feel a lot of gratitude. I can't believe that I have had some nights. Like there was a night recently where I stayed up with my kids and built my Lego Jedi Starfighter. And that's something I will never, ever, ever forget. Or I called Ben and Danji, Dan and Benji, uh, uh, and told them like, "Thank you. You made me a Jedi, and I don't know how to explain this to you, that how much this means to me." And it's great. I had this in my room when I got the call. This was like that I was doing it. Like I had this. Like I can't believe it. I definitely spent way too much money on Legos already, and it's an honor. I can't believe it.
Bobby, Dan's there from Coffee with Kenobi.
Hello.
Good to see you, man. My son knew I was going to talk to you today, and he said Jedi Bob is the most famous non-Star Wars character ever. So how about that for a legacy?
I agree, and that's the best. Yeah, there's no better part to get in Star Wars. I don't think. That's a lie. I want to play Jabba or something like that one day.
Well, the performance was great, and you're a blast. Appreciate
Thank you so much. It was the best. I had a little bit of fun doing it.
Hi, Bobby. Gustavo from Triad of the Force. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Everyone has been mentioning like your appearances in Bad Batch and Resistance, but I feel everyone has forgotten about the live stage readings of the Naboo movie and the Kamino Caper, which
Thank you for bringing it up.
are
Important.
probably as iconic as they are infamous.
It's the only place where I get cast as Darth Maul, Jango Fett, yeah, and the third one's coming, and there might be a certain villain in my.
I'm sure, and I'm sure Sam
I'd be
Witwer
building a
and Ray
costume.
Park
Yeah, I might be
are
building
jealous.
a costume involving a lot of pool noodles as we speak.
The expectations are high now. And I guess that now my question has to do with obviously Jedi Bob. And one of the things that I think is overlooked is that because it's Lego, everyone's just like, oh, this is a very light-hearted adventure and all the characters are fun and quirky. But after watching Rebuild the Galaxy, Jedi Bob is a tortured character. He went through so much trauma of losing his world and trying to save this other one, and he also lost it, and then trying to get sick to, save the galaxy. So how do you balance a character that has suffered severe trauma, but then make it lighthearted and fun?
I mean, I hate to say this, but that's a lot of people in life, right? That's a lot. There's a lot of people with stuff going on, and they're just trying to make it through their day. You don't have to be a Jedi to do that. That's everybody. That being said, I think I took it seriously. I took Jedi like that. Like I would go as far as saying like just one of the best acting roles I've ever gotten in my life. Like, and it sounds silly because it's a Lego Star Wars thing, but it's not. I had a lot of heavy lifting to do in that thing, literally, and it was fun to get to play a little serious, but also play goofy and make fun of Star Wars with Mark Hamill.
Hi, Bobby. Victor from Fandads. You've kind of alluded to this a couple of times already with the Jedi Bob figure, but you're part of one of like the funniest Saturday Night Live skits making fun of Star Wars collectors.
So now that stuff was from my house downstairs.
So now that you're gonna have like, since you even said it, you have the official Jedi Bob Starfighter. How does it feel to have that Lego figure? And are you gonna put it in a case so no one can touch it after this?
My daughter is home. One of my daughters is home, so I am here in front of a whiteboard. But otherwise, I would have been in my office downstairs. And I'm kind of glad because I'm a little embarrassed. I have at least 50 or 60 Jedi Bob sets in my office downstairs, just ready to give out to anybody who wants them. I may have a bunch of different Jedi Bobs. I may have an Imperial Jedi Bob. I may have made a Christmas Jedi Bob. I may have made an X-Wing Jedi Bob. I have a lot of Jedi Bobs. I have a great deal. Are those hot toys behind you, by the way?
Yes, they are. These are my Spider-Man.
Yeah. Call me later.
I'll tweet you.
We'll show off rooms.
Brilliant. So what was it like working with, you mentioned Mark Hamill, and obviously he must be, somebody that you feel for in the same way that we all do, because we've grown up with the guy and he's part of our lives. So how was that for you?
It's not lost on me. I got to meet him a long time ago at a Star Wars event, and he was so kind, and I was taken aback. I've gotten to meet a lot of famous people through SNL and stuff like that, but he is someone who truly understands the gravity of of who he is. He is Luke Skywalker, and I don't think it bothers him like other people. Like it's he is Luke, and he acts like it a little bit, and I love it. I love him, but in this in particular, I can't believe as a Star Wars fan and as a comedian that I got to be in the Star Wars project where they let Mark Hamill just be great, where they just let him be funny, and I think a lot of his stuff is improvised. Like it's great. He makes this thing for me, and forever, for the rest of time, whenever I have 2 minutes where I don't have anything to do, I'm just going to go watch that cantina scene with me and Mark Hamill. That's what I will do for the rest of time.
Not a bad thing to have. Awesome.
Yeah, not a bad thing at all.
Talking about the fun of collecting Star Wars, and Lego Star Wars is 25 years old this year. So what are your memories of Lego Star Wars back in that simpler time that the flashback alludes to? Do you have a favorite set or minifigure?
I mean, like the Jedi Bob, when I have it, and like I can't believe it. It's so funny that just like this thing is now turned into this thing. But I also one of my favorite Lego sets is the one where they turn or Darth Vader in the like on the gurney, like the most horrible moment of his entire existence. Like there's a Lego set for it, and then it always I feel bad a little bit for Darth Vader that Lego set exists. I think it's rude for him. It's like if somebody put your worst moment in a Lego set, I assume wouldn't be as fun. Actually, it might make it better.
All right, yeah, I ran because I got this too. I picked this up recently, so you know I'm a big fan of Jedi Bob. So for me, my favorite, like my holy grail of like Star Wars collection is I have a 1983 Revenge of the Jedi poster. And it was the
Nice.
one that like you flip open and talk about Star Wars and Empire, and you open it up and says now in production, Revenge of the Jedi. What's your go-to like hands down favorite Star Wars collectible that you have? And I'm guessing you have a lot, but what is your favorite
Yeah,
one?
I mean, like now I have my own Jedi Starfighter, and I can't believe it. Like the Lego stuff, I can't believe. But I think, like, I wish I was in my office. I think the two things downstairs that, like, I go, like, that's pretty nuts. I have the Kylo Ren helmet that Adam Driver wore in the radar technician sketch, and he signed it. Love you to your friend Matt. Like that is like just because that was a fun thing into the Star. I have the giant R2D2 that we had in the other Star Wars sketch, the one where I was Boba Fett with the long hair. It was like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars. I don't even remember anymore. But that art, I have that R2D2, and now it's signed by like J.J. Abrams, John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, all the people that came through SNL. They would they would just come in my dressing room and sign it. So I have that in my office. Like that's just a cool thing. I think maybe, but now to answer your question, I think my Orka figure, I had an Orka figure made, and I think that might be it.
Hi, Bobby. I'm Caitlin, the other half of Skytalkers. So great to talk to you today. You mentioned you'd worked with writers Dan and Benji before. What was it like working with them on this project?
It was the best. Yeah, I got asked to go to Lucasfilm and help pitch jokes for the Star Wars. I think it was the Christmas special, the Lego Christmas special, and I was just over the moon because that's a job I'm equipped for, I thought. And I met them there, and then when they were writing this, they thought of me, and I can't believe it. I'm a huge fan of theirs anyway. That Ninja Turtle movie is fantastic. The Pokemon, like they're absolute geniuses at genres of IPs that people really, really love because they care about them as well. And Benji is an A-fole. He is an adult fan of Lego. He is like, I've never met anybody like that. Like he is one of those guys that knows everything about it. And they're great, and they're really funny, and they did a bang up job on this special, and I'm really lucky that they exist.
How did you hear about Jedi Bob, and why were you interested in playing the character?
I had heard about him just as like a fan of collecting weird Star Wars stuff. I I was like at a Walmart and saw like a miscarded figure, like it was a Luke Skywalker figure, but there was like a stormtrooper background. And I was like, what is this? I thought I found something crazy. And I started collecting weird Star Wars stuff and found out that there was this character that was just named Jedi that came out with this set, and like that people online were nicknamed him Jedi Bob, and that it had become very expensive to collect him now because not many people wanted it. And I thought that was just a fascinating story as a fan of weird collecting stuff. And then one day I got a phone call from my friends who were like, "Do you want to play this weird character that you know?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want to do."
You talked about Mark Hamill getting to do a lot of ad lib stuff. How much did you get to do on this? And is there any jokes? Are there any jokes that you got to do in the room that didn't make it that you wish had?
Of course. Yeah, they wrote it so well that like this is. I am an improviser. I love to improvise. I feel comfortable improvising, but there is nothing better for me than a job where I instantly realize I don't have to flex that muscle as much as I need to. They did such a fantastic job at writing this that I didn't need to improvise a lot. But of course, it was Star Wars. I definitely tried to shoehorn in. I would every recording. I was like, well, I'm I got a bad feeling about this or something. I just kept trying to shoehorn in myself to old Star Wars stuff, and I got a couple in. But one that I remember, I definitely improvised at one point. I think to Mark Hamill that I was in Max Rebo's band, that I played saxophone in Max Rebo's band many years ago, and that I got kicked out for stealing. And I don't know why, I just thought that was funny. And they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to use that. We're not going to do that." And I was like, "Got it. Okay." There's a few. It's funny. You're or somebody here is from Revenge of the Sith, or no, Full of
Full of
Sith.
Sith.
Full of
Full of
Sith.
Sith.
I think we did that joke in this. Is it still in it? Or we definitely recorded that joke and we're like, we wonder if we could get away with this. I said, "Oh, Sig, you're full of Sith," or something like that. And I thought maybe we got away with it, but maybe not.
I don't recall that. I would have noticed that one.
I feel like you would have. Yeah, that's what, when you said it, I was like, "Is it still in there?" No, but we definitely tried it. But that was the cool thing about this whole project, was like it was the first. I felt like it was the first time where it was like, you know what, we're gonna have fun and make fun of Star Wars a little bit, and this whole universe.
How about that? Hopefully, everyone was able to enjoy that. I know that it was such an honor and a privilege to have been a part of this roundtable interview. Bobby was amazing, and all the other content creators that we were lucky enough to share this space with were also great. Like, their questions were also really on point, and everyone, like I said before, was so happy and joyful. And special thanks to Lucasfilm for the invite. We're definitely not lost upon us, like how special these moments are. And I also want to just give a huge shout out to the other friends that we were able to share that roundtable with, like Star Wars Explained, Father.Son.Galaxy, Fandads, The Art of Fatherhood, Skytalkers, Coffee with Kenobi, Jedi News. Hopefully, I'm not missing anybody, but if I did, thank you too. And we'll definitely be leaving all those kudos down in the comments and descriptions below so that I don't miss anyone in written format, which I might have now in spoken one. But like I said, short episode. Stay tuned for our final part of these roundtable interviews, where we will be talking to Tony Revoloro and Gaten Matarazzo, where I think we're gonna maybe not save the best for last, but we're definitely saving that one. So we hope you enjoyed that one the most. But until that one, which is coming out soon, stay tuned. Hope you've enjoyed these first two roundtable interviews. Hope you have been enjoying LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. Maybe if you've been on social media, you've seen the new pictures for Skeleton Crew with our new boy Brutus. I think there's a fan club that's going to happen with that. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought. But with that, we have been Triad of the Force. If you've enjoyed, what you're seeing and want to see more, please make sure to share, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you're listening to podcast, leave a rating. It helps. Let's boost that algorithm. Get those smaller channels like ours on everyone else's radar, especially a Puerto Rican channel on Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll definitely appreciate it. But yeah, with that, thank you so much, and may the Force be with you.